As I'm sure you already know if you clicked on this video, coming up with a standout essay topic for every single prompt in your application can be one of the most challenging things. And one of the reasons that it makes it very difficult to start writing your applications. Now, for the first time ever, there's a software that allows you to create essay topic ideas that are highly personalized and specific to every single essay prompt that you have for your application in just minutes. And that is called onyxadmissions.com. And this is where you can find free access to generating powerful essay topics that are going to really wow an admissions officer and make it much, much easier for you to get started within just minutes and get to writing your essays. So today, let's have a look at how the Onyx Admissions essay topic generator works and what you need to do to make sure you get the best essay topics out of this software as possible. The first thing we want to do is head over to onyxadmissions.com and create an account for free. And then you can head over to the essay topic generator. And here you'll see a very simple 6 questions that you want to approach and answer in order to generate a highly personalized essay topic. And you'll notice here at the bottom, you can insert the essay prompt that you are looking at that you have to answer. If it's a personal statement prompt for your common application, for example, you can pick any of the prompts and put them in here or all of them and get a different essay topic that's going to align the best. And you choose what is best for you, or you can use the suggestions that come off the first response of Onyx Admissions, because these are built to be standout topics for your essay prompts. So let's get started. The first thing that is most important is, because there are so many different components to consider, to actually move all of the questions to a Word document. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It's super simple. All we have to do is go in and copy the questions, open up our Word document, and we can pop them right in. This is a great way to make sure you don't lose any progress as you're thinking through these critical questions that we'll go through today. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to be a high school student who is a swimmer and loves to swim and has been doing it for 5-6 years now and through high school. But I also really love tutoring. And that has been one of the most important elements of my high school experience. And in the future, I really hope to teach high school students. It's because I just love it so much. And that is the student that we are going to look at today going through these questions. So you'll notice right off the bat, these are questions that make you think. First question, tell me what you are most proud of and why. Okay. That can be intimidating at first, right? Maybe no one's ever asked you that, or you haven't had the chance to think about something like that. You're not alone. That's most students. But it is so important to coming up with a powerful essay topic. So let's take our student example, and we're thinking back to my experience as this student and what moment or what experience am I most proud of looking back at the past 3-4 years of high school that I always come back to when I'm thinking about, well, that made me feel really good. I feel like I really accomplished something meaningful. And there, I'm sure, are a number of things that come to mind, but find the one that stands out above all. So for our student here, let's have a look. This student in particular had actually taken his love for tutoring and ended up creating an organization at his high school to make tutoring more accessible for high-level classes at his school. So our student is the most proud of creating an organization, which we call tutors for success at my high school. Okay, why? All right, why is this so important to me? I really have loved tutoring students throughout high school in the informal way, with just in classes, working with students, my peers, friends, and I was able to take all of the information and knowledge, teaching, to create resources for students at my high school who are struggling in classes. And I created a space for them to learn. What makes me most proud, and this is the important part of each of these questions, digging deeper, right? What is that feeling? What is that moment? It's something that will be critical to your essays, actually writing them, but also creating an essay idea. So digging deeper, what makes me most proud of this organization is the experiences that I see students having when they have access to my resources. I also really love that the students who sign up to tutor within my organization have so much fun and fulfillment when working with other students. So here, you have to really think about your individual situation, what is meaningful to you, why it matters. And you'll notice that some of these questions might cross over, and that is totally good. You want to try to come up with slightly different ideas for each of them. You can pull different moments, maybe your top 3 meaningful experiences, proud moments, and put them in here. Or you can pull the one that stands out to you the most. The more you give here and the deeper you dive, the better the essay topic generation will be for your essay prompt. So let's have a look now at the next prompt. Tell me what has been or have been the most meaningful experiences or moments you've had and why. So really, keyword here is the moments, those individual experiences. So as a tutor, one of the most, or let's say life-changing even, moments in my time in high school was when I first started working with middle school students. So let's say before our students created his organization, he actually did a lot of tutoring with middle school students. And so he has enjoyed this a lot, and he's thinking back to this moment, as you'll think back to important moments in your life, and they don't necessarily need to be academic. In fact, it's amazing if they are not, and they're in all dimensions of your life, right? Think what is truly meaningful. Maybe a particular conversation with a friend, right? Or a particular moment when you were doing your sport, or a musical instrument that you play, a particular concert that just really sticks out to you as so important to who you are and what you have enjoyed and found so meaningful in high school. So let's break down this student. He's talking about a moment that he remembers with a middle school student. So a particular middle school student, let's say James, was struggling with, let's say, chemistry. And he really was frustrated, almost tears in his eyes, right? Because he was struggling to understand the concepts being taught in class and was not doing well on his tests, right? So we look at this and we say, all right, how can we dig deeper, right? Think about those feelings. So I remember feeling so incredibly overwhelmed with joy when I saw his eyes light up. after we talked through the problem. We solved it, right? That moment, that moments that you feel so overwhelmed with emotion that are so important. And I remember him saying to me, like, thank you for being the reason, or something, right? Whatever the situation is, it doesn't have to be something said necessarily, but how did he feel, right? Thank you for being the reason that I feel confident about chemistry now. And think your individual experiences won't sound like this specifically, right? But think about those words that have been said, those meaningful interactions with either with other people or with different parts of your environment or with your instrument, for example, or any other context with your art, whatever it may be. And why was that meaningful? I felt so much joy in that moment that I knew for me that teaching was the answer to what I wanted to do for a long time to come. Right. And maybe you're in your life, there's no, here's what I want to do for my living, right? Here's what I want to do as a job, career, after college, even during college. And that's totally valid. You write about what your meaningful experiences were. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Tell me about the ways your mindset and perspective have changed and what experiences created that. So this one requires a little bit of, let me think back to when I started high school. When I started high school, what were my perspectives? What did I value? What was my goal when I walked in? Was it maybe I wanted to get super high grades? Maybe I was like, I have to do this. Or maybe it was like, I want to go meet tons and tons of people. Or maybe it was, I don't want to go to high school. Forget this. This is a waste of time. All of which are totally valid, but really think back to that moment when you started. And now think to who you are today, what you care about, how your mindset has changed. What is important to you now? What matters, right? And what conversations have you had that maybe changed the way you looked at the world, changed the way you looked at your life, maybe your family, maybe the way you look at your family? There's a lot of different things that change. And really being able to say, what did I think when I started high school versus now is so important in seeing that growth and that development in the way you see the world. There's no right or wrong here. It is simply what is important to you. So let's look for our student here. Tell me about the ways his mindset has changed. So I told you I was a swimmer. So as a swimmer, one of the most important experiences for me was when I learned about discipline. See, I went into high school not really caring too much about what I did each day. Didn't really have a routine, didn't really value one. And joining the swim team was the first time I had to really commit to something I cared about and showing up even when I really didn't want to. And what does that mean? So here is and I should be writing this, but what does that mean in terms of you, right? What is the impact on that? This went way beyond the swim team in my values. I began showing up more for my family. I wanted to be there for them. And even when I didn't really feel like it. And I started working out regularly. That became a really important part of who I am. And I learned that, and this is the big part of mindset and perspective changes. And what did you learn? What was so important that you learned over the course of your high school experience? I learned that doing small things every single day are what make me successful, what I seek for myself, right? So maybe it's not about just the outcome. It really depends on each every day showing up for 10 minutes, not showing up an hour just one day. Something like that is an experience that really is a change in the beginning of high school, the way you approach things, and after, right? Now, looking back at high school, think about those important things. What's an easier way to approach it is also to think about those experiences that have changed you and changed your perspective. A lot of when we look back at our growth revolves around particular experiences. And so if something doesn't come to you right away as something big difference between you at the beginning of high school and now, then start to think about those really big experiences that changed your perspective. Usually they come to mind if they're emotionally related, and most of our growth related experiences tend to be. Let's go on to the next question now. What is the vision for your life that you want to have in 2 years and in 15 years? And what does your ideal week look like? Now, this can be one that is really intimidating, for sure, as if the other ones weren't. But this really gives a perspective to you being able to think deeply and try to understand, taking what you care about and defining it in terms of what your goals are, right? Not everything is about long-term goals in life, right? It's important, though, to have a sense of what you care about in order to define what you feel will make you in an ideal world or a near ideal world for you in the future. Otherwise, it's difficult to work towards that for yourself. And so this question comes after the first three because it allows you to think about those initial three and really understand what you care about, what makes you really filled with joy and excitement and all those positive emotions that you want in your life. And now the 2 years versus 15 years. I always feel that it's easier to break down the 2 years, right? What do you want your college experience to look like? So let's start with that. For me, looking at the ideal week is a way to break it down. It doesn't make it feel so overwhelming. And so, what job are you going to do, or what career are you going to do, or what are you going to be doing, every single day for 2 years or in the next 2 years. And instead, which is like a week. What is the kind of week that I want to have? So let's say for this student, in 2 years, I want to be on the swim team at my college and showing up, let's say 6 times a week. Really love swimming, right? It's important to me. Beyond that, if we look back to our previous responses, discipline is important to me. So I want to be disciplined with my schoolwork. I want to not have late assignments. Late assignments. And I want to really feel like I understand what I'm learning, right? Maybe education is super important to me, as we saw in our student here. And what else? I want to be able to relax too. This is an important one. It's easy in the college application process to get really caught up in academics, right? I want to have 2-3 hours a day to spend time with friends and family, right? Now, maybe to you that seems like a lot, or maybe too little, or something exactly what you look for. It's all about you and what you feel is important to you. Okay, so that's a 2-year time frame, and kind of describes what the week is going to look like in a 7-day span. Without being too specific, but not too general either. In 15 years, I hope to be teaching in a high school setting. In a high school setting. I want to teach English because I feel that a lot of students look. Okay. Giving a reason is also a great way to better understand yourself, right? So what does your ideal week look like? I want to spend time with my family. Let's say at the end of each day. And my kids, right? So maybe family's important to you in 15 years, right? And maybe you're like high school, that's not even in the time frame or mindset at all. If you're not sure, that's totally good too. You don't need to. You can say, 15 years, I'm not sure what I want my ideal life to look like, my ideal world to look like. Or maybe you are so dead set upon what you think your life is going to look like, or you want your life to look like in 15 years. Write it down. That's what this is about. It's about really thinking deeply about what you want and what you value. Let's go ahead and move on to the next question. Tell me about the most exciting moments you had inside and outside of school. Why did they excite you? And so here's a change, right? We talked about meaningful moments and experiences, but let's look at exciting now. What excites you? Let's say, for me, as the student, one of the most exciting moments I remember is when my physics teacher taught us about, let's say, the chemistry aspects about centrifugal force. Sure. Let's say when I was in class, it was really exciting, so cool when he swung a bucket of water his head to demonstrate the power of centrifugal force. Right? Maybe this was super exciting to me, and I loved it because I could see the awe in students' eyes, right? So maybe that was the important moment for me. Maybe it wasn't just that, wow, centrifugal force, that's very interesting. Maybe it was, look at all these students who are just amazed, right? Let's say the physics classroom was normally quiet and unenthused, right? And then all of a sudden, it lit up, right? To me, that was so exciting. Maybe that was in school, right? And why did that excite me? Well, this is the next step, right? These second questions, follow-up questions, really tell you to dig deeper. Why? Because I love seeing students' eyes light up. It's so rare, and I want to be a part of that reality for you to make that happen. So here you have dig deeper, right? What do I value as a student, right? Why was that exciting? And this is where the value really comes in, is that dig deeper. Let's say outside of school. Outside of school, I remember one time I was volunteering, say, at let's say a nursing home. And it was really special to connect with the patients there suffering with dementia. It was so exciting to see their eyes light up when they saw me walk in and to have a conversation with them. Right? Okay. Let's jump into the next question. right? And then the level of detail, right? We want to get more into the why, but for the sake of the video, you had an idea of what that looks like, right? Maybe the why is even more in-depth than this. So let's have a look at, tell me about the moments and experiences you wish you could do again or go back to, and why. Here we go. Last question. We've made it. What would you want to go back to? Why? I love to go back to that day after our swim meet at, let's say, the state finals, right? It was so special to be surrounded by so much positive energy, right? Maybe think about those experiences, those moments that were really, really happy, really positive. Everyone was so excited that we did so well. And we were all sharing smiles and laughs. And maybe you go even deeper than this. Tell me about what that is like in the moment, right? I remember seeing my one friend, Jack, jumping. I remember seeing Jack laughing so hard that he was doubled over. It was a really wonderful time, right? So maybe, we talked about a lot of the academic things, a lot of the moments that are very much kind of in the high school experience, but we can also go beyond that in any of these questions, right? It's something that was just genuinely exciting, a special moment, right? And then the why, right? I loved it because I was a part of a community that was so wonderful and joyful, right? Maybe that was the special reason. Okay, so now we've broken down each of these questions, right? And you'll notice they're quite expansive. There's a lot of information to be included. And that is where the value comes in, because this not only will be used to generate topics for every single essay prompt you have in just minutes, but it will also be the basis for your essays, as in this already gave you your outlines for an essay. And this is the secret about the way this works, and the power of it is that you taking the time to answer these questions is double effective for you. It makes it so much more simple to come up with an essay idea, right? But it also makes it so much more simple that you're already in the mindset of the moment, the anecdote, and as you see, the most important part of essay writing is showing the feelings and the raw emotions, and that is what this is about. So you taking the time to do this kills two birds, if not more, arguably, with one stone. So now we have this Word document, and what I want to do is take these and put them into my onyxadmissions.com software inputs. So you can go ahead here, and you can see super straightforward once you have taken the time to do this. And now you can keep this document, this Word document. And with this document, it's in the same box. With this document, you can do this over and over again for all your different essay prompts without having to go back, refill this in. You can just copy and paste super easily. Now comes the essay prompt. Let's say I'm going to do my common application. So I'm going to go to the common application prompts that are for this year, and I'm going to pick the one that I wanted to answer. All right, let's say I want to do reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking? What was the outcome? And we'll go ahead here and put this in. Straightforward enough, and we'll go ahead and generate. And this will take just a couple moments. Give it about a minute. Usually it takes about 30 seconds, and we will get an essay topic, but we'll also get more than that, as we'll see. Now you'll notice that here your output is actually a breakdown of each individual item that you talked about, at least the of each major item you talked about. And this is really also where the value comes in beyond just giving you a topic idea. You can see the breakdown of the high level. What is the reflection? What is the actual points of these experiences that you want to bring up in essays? It already builds an entire framework for your essays. And you can see these life-changing, right, directly related to this essay prompt. So what Onyx now has given you is the perfect essay idea based on what you have given it to align with this particular prompt that you want to do. Okay. And so I want to show you what this looks like with multiple different essay prompts. But first, notice there is a button here that looks like a little cloud. When you click that, you can save a file with this entire response and all of these things you wrote down so that you always have them. Let's say you didn't save it in a Word doc and you want to keep this for the particular prompt. It's already going to be lined up and you can go ahead and save that for yourself. Let's go ahead and look at what another prompt would look like. So we'll go ahead and describe a topic that's so engaging that makes you lose track of time. So we'll go ahead and we'll leave everything the same and just regenerate our essay topic suggestion. And we'll have a look in about 30 seconds. Right. So you'll notice here that this again breaks down the individual experiences, but here we want to look at what is it that we're suggesting is the best topic for this. So we'll go ahead and look down here. We'll see suggestion is the moment when we first started tutoring James, okay, and with the chemistry problem, and why. This moment, right, captivated you, the feelings of working with James. It allowed you to realize that teaching was the answer to what you wanted. And it really is highly personalized and specific to that essay prompt. And you can see here, you found teaching to be so engaging that it made you lose track of time. It was really captivating, and that is why it is so important. And there is a connection here also to the first point you mentioned, right? Which is our Tutors for Success organization. And that is another way to really connect two pieces together of your life. Maybe you wanted to include Tutors for Success in your personal statement, but you didn't know how or with which prompt. You can bring it in with the first prompt we looked at, or you can bring it in here in a very different context. But it brings a beautiful, beautiful essay topic to respond to the prompt. So really what Onyx is all about is being able to break down your individual experiences into what is going to be ideal for every single essay prompt. This works for all of your supplemental essays. It works for all of the personal statements that you'll have to write for all the different application platforms as you apply, whatever they may be. And I want to show you one more thing. We'll mention that you can also save this as well using the cloud function, and it'll give you everything again into a text file that you can save to your computer. What I'll have you look at now is another example of a student. This is a cleanup initiative that the student created that was really meaningful to them. And then they talked about working with a local animal shelter as very meaningful to them. This is a completely different student that we're looking at. And I want to show you what it looks like with a different prompt and a different student. So let's have a look and generate a response for this student here. All right. So we're going to go ahead and generate a response here. All right, so now you can see the stories that stand out as meaningful and impactful out of the students' responses. So a breakdown of the most valuable components for an essay of what you broke down and chose to talk about. And you can go ahead and see that the suggestion for a essay topic is exactly here. There are two options actually, which is one, the community cleanup initiative, which talks about a important period of personal growth growth prompted by an experience, and breaks down exactly what you learned, which is what the prompt is asking for. And secondly, there's another suggestion that's brought in, which is the local animal shelter and what you learn from it and why it is important to your understanding of yourself and others, as the prompt asks. So there's a lot of ways you could regenerate responses, change up your inputs, try to get different ideas for different essay prompts, or you can take the most thorough approach and try to get as much deep depth into each of your inputs as possible, and then go ahead and generate responses for all your different prompts that you have to take on for your application. And you will see a breakdown of exactly why these are powerful essay topic ideas for your specific given prompt. All right, I want you to know that you got this. I know it's overwhelming and scary and uncertain, but Onyx is here to make you feel more confident. You got this, and there are now, for the first time ever, a software that will make it easier for you. And that is what Onyx is all about. So go ahead, test it out for absolutely free, onyxadmissions.com, super easy, super fast, and really take the effort to think deeply. You got this.